Okay, thanks to everyone for joining us again this week, and thanks to Patria, of course. Boy, am I looking forward to this webinar about how to take time out to nurture ourselves, which is also very much, of course, part of the idea of reclaiming our lunch hours, which hopefully there are a lot of you out there doing now. So just before, again, when we start, could you please type yes into the chat box so I know if you can hear us and that you're out there and ready to go. And also a reminder, if you do have any questions, which we would love to hear, can you email them through to socialmedia@questforlife.com.au and we can answer them in next week's webinar. So, over to you, Patria, to begin the replenishing on this beautiful day.
Thank you, Liz, and hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. In the first webinar, we discussed some simple tools to bring yourself more into the present moment. These involve being aware of the breath and the practice of coming to your senses. I trust you've been practicing these simple techniques both in your workplace and in your personal life, and that you've really begun to experience the benefits of your practice. Last week we talked about communication and how by changing our language we can change the outcome of our interactions to be far more positive with colleagues, as well as in our more personal communications. You can revisit these webinars anytime on our website to refresh your memory about each one. Today, I want to talk about how we replenish ourselves on a daily basis, how we can choose to incorporate healthy habits into our daily routine, whether at work or at home. So many people make almost everything else a priority before they take care of themselves. People often say, oh, they don't have time to replenish themselves. However, if we don't put our personal resilience at the top of our list, it's unlikely that anyone else will. In fact, it's your responsibility to take good care of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health and well-being. After all, it's far better to bring your well-replenished self to the challenge, the crisis, the chaos, or the disaster than to bring your exhausted, dispirited, overwhelmed, anxious, irritable, depressed, or despairing self to the challenges you might have in your life. The only place you'll see this philosophy actively promoted is on aeroplanes, when the attendant demonstrates the oxygen mask. They always say, first put the mask on you, and when you're breathing normally, put it on the children and on the other passengers. They never say, we want you to run around the plane and put as many masks on as many people as possible before you collapse. And yet that's often how we're living our lives, putting masks on everyone else before we've attended to ourselves. And of course, you'll never find the time to take care of yourself. You need to create the time, not find it. There are 168 hours in a week. I wonder how many of you feel like you own every one of those hours. If you don't feel like you own each and every one of those hours, chances are you could be resenting some that you feel other people have already claimed. The symptoms of stress that people often describe in our retreats and workshops include these: insomnia, irritability, forgetfulness, lack of focus, poor concentration, clumsiness, withdrawing from social interactions or events, recurrent respiratory illnesses, increased aches and pains, tension headaches or tension in the muscles of the neck, shoulders or jaw, over or under eating or eating junk or sugary foods, feeling uninspired, dispirited, lacking in enthusiasm and creativity, resenting or blaming other people, road rage, a lack of joy and optimism. Clearly, these symptoms are the antithesis of feeling creative, inspired, uplifted, motivated, focused, productive, happy, and fully alive. These symptoms are what we experience when we have an emotional backlog that we haven't attended to. They're the indicators of not being present in our lives, when we feel overwhelmed or exhausted. And if we feel at the end of our tether, then we're more likely to be reactive in our communications rather than responsive. There are four major things we sacrifice when we're at the end of our tether or when our inner bucket feels empty. These are: we lose our sense of humour, and heaven knows we all need that on planet Earth. Our creativity dries up. We lose our spontaneity and we ultimately lose confidence in ourselves and in our abilities. In addition to these 4 universal symptoms of stress, we each have our own idiosyncratic ones, such as perhaps isolating ourselves or blaming others, biting our nails, not sleeping or sleeping all the time, not eating or eating all the time, and so on. I'd suggest you write down your half-dozen ways of manifesting stress so that you can use them consciously as a warning sign that something is amiss, rather than have these be your normal way of living. Put this list up in your bathroom mirror so that every day you can check that none of these behaviours are happening in your life. These need to be your alarm bells. In order to build our resilience to stress, we can choose to address on a regular basis our physical, mental, emotional and spiritual needs. So what are the things that nourish us, replenish us and fluff up our bodies? What inspires, uplifts, nourishes and quietens our mind? In what way do we give healthy expression to our emotions? In what environments do we feel connected to our spirit? This list, of course, will also be very individual, but it might comprise some of the following common answers to the questions above. Again, I encourage you to write down your half-dozen ways of replenishing yourself on all levels, and likewise put that list where you'll see it every day. Make sure each day that you include something from your list. Here are some of the common ones from participants in our workshops. Time spent with friends, intimacy and making love, massage or aromatherapy, being in nature, dancing, singing, making or listening to music, inspirational reading, meditation or prayer, loving someone, helping someone or volunteering, a creative outlet of some kind, perhaps through a hobby or craft, learning or studying something new, fresh bed sheets, holidays, regular and restful sleep, setting and achieving goals, exercise or playing sport, the smell of fresh flowers, laughter, curling up with a good book, eating healthily. Any of these things are easy to incorporate into our daily lives. And of course there are many others. And if you notice, these are all present time activities because we love being in the present. When we're engaged in these activities, we're not preoccupied with the future or the past. So what stops us from having a life that's full of these activities? Some people blame time, yet we know there are only 168 hours in the week, and every single one of them belongs to us. Some people feel guilty or selfish to have these things abundantly in their life. Yet the greatest gift we can give ourselves, give our children, give our workplace or our community is the gift of our own excellent physical, mental, emotional and spiritual health and well-being. When you give these things or these activities a priority in your life, you'll venture to your list of stress symptoms very rarely. It's your responsibility to fill up your inner bucket until it's full to overflowing, and then you only give from the overflow in your life. No one else can fill your bucket for you. It's your responsibility. If you're always giving from a half-empty bucket, then you'll resent what you have to give to others that you haven't even given to yourself. I've often heard people say, oh, if I had more time, I'd exercise. If I had more time, I'd prepare healthier food for myself. If I had more time, I'd meditate, drink fresh juice, and so on. The fact is you don't have more time. There's just those 168 hours. If you were playing chess, there are 64 squares on the board. You wouldn't say, if only I had a few more squares, I could win this game. It's just the same with our time. We need to divvy up our 168 hours so that we incorporate the things that replenish, refresh, and restore ourselves first, before our children, before the workplace, before our other commitments. This ensures that we have a resilient foundation to work from. When you take your lunch break, use this time to practice noticing your surroundings. If you do need to check your phone or call someone, do so, but leave your phone at the office. Don't take it with you when you take your lunch break. Give yourself a break from technology and focus on giving your undivided attention to people and to your surroundings. Be aware of how your body moves as you walk. Notice your breathing. Enjoy what you see, smell, hear, taste, and touch. Let go any judgment or resistance to what you experience. Savor the sensations instead. Notice everything with an openness to what is. The mind can be full of judgments, resistance, labeling, expectations, rehashing conversations, and assumptions. Use your lunch break to watch these thoughts come and then let them go. When you practice mindfulness, you'll notice your mind getting caught up in idle thinking, so let the thoughts go and practice an open awareness instead. If you're interacting with people during your lunch, be present with them. Look them in the eye. Notice them. When you're on your lunch break, don't think about anything to do with your work. You'll find that if you're attentive to your surroundings during your break, you'll return to your work feeling refreshed and perhaps with some insights into any problems or challenges you have. Most people are spending too much of their working life sitting down. Your body is dependent on a system of pumps to circulate your blood and lymph throughout your body. Your heart pumps oxygenated blood around your body, but your lymphatic system depends upon muscular activity to circulate the lymph. Muscular activity massages the lymph through the channels in your body and forms your body's defense against infections as it removes potential infectious agents and toxins. It would be good to get up from your desk every 20 minutes at least so that you get regular movement throughout your working day. And it's important that at lunchtime you take a brisk walk, go to the gym, or have some form of exercise that gets your lymphatic system moving. If you work in a progressive company, they may be open to a standing desk or workstation. I know when I do my radio interviews at the ABC, all the presenters now stand to do all of their presentations. These are gaining in popularity as it has been well proven that standing is far healthier for you than sitting for long periods. And let's talk a little about food at lunchtime to ensure that you stay alert and productive all afternoon. Before talking about lunch, though, let's talk about breakfast. What you eat has a huge impact on your mood, your energy, and your appetite for the remainder of the day. Having a nutritious breakfast will tide you over until your lunch break. You might want to choose things like bircher muesli with blueberries or raspberries, poached eggs and sourdough toast, rhubarb porridge or a smoothie based on green juice, coconut milk and an organic egg. These nutritionally dense foods will give you the nutrients you need for mental concentration and creative thinking. If you choose the right lunch, you'll avoid the afternoon slump, which often leads us to munching on things that are generally high in calories but low in nutrition. And as you're probably aware, it's important to minimize your sugar intake as it overstimulates your pancreas as it tries to cope with the spike in sugar. Getting the balance right at lunchtime is the key to a consistent energy and concentration levels throughout your afternoon. Include some complex carbohydrates such as whole grain bread, crackers or pasta, as well as a palm-sized serve of lean protein such as tuna, eggs, chicken. It's important to always include some leafy greens to provide fibre, vitamins, enzymes and minerals. The bitey greens, particularly such as rocket or radicchio or mustard greens, are great for your liver and are good to include with your lunch. Don't skimp on the healthy carbohydrates as both your brain and your muscles require them for energy, and without them you're likely to develop sugar cravings. A couple of slices of whole grain bread, a few whole grain crackers or some tinned beans or corn is sufficient to give you the nutrients you need. And while foods like sushi, noodle dishes and soups can all be very healthy lunch choices, they don't give you the bulk that you need to give you a sense of fullness throughout the afternoon. Aim for a minimum of 1 cup of salad or vegetables with your lunch, either raw or in a vegetable soup. Or it's easy to take a carrot or some celery or capsicum to work to cut up for a fresh snack at lunchtime. You might want to keep some almonds, macadamias or walnuts in your office drawer along with some dates, raisins, prunes or ginger so that you always have a healthy snack available if you do feel hungry or if your energy levels begin to flag. This is a much healthier alternative to coffee or a sugary snack that will spike your energy levels but then leave you flagging again. So that's it for today. Don't forget to sign up for each webinar and feel free to share the link with your friends and colleagues. If you know anyone who's facing a significant challenge in their life, let them know about the resources and services at the Quest for Life Centre by directing them to our website. And if you have any questions, as Liz said, please send those through to social media at questforlife.com.au. My thanks to Liz Rowell and Red Arc for making these webinars available. You can listen to them again on the Quest for Life website. Thanks for your company today, and I look forward to being with you again next week. Bye for now.